It's Godzilla vs. Kong, the Battle of the Titans, and one must fall. Did this movie disappoint? Short answer, absolutely not. But before I explain why, I want you to drop your comments down below on if you are Team Godzilla or Team Kong. Before I watched it, I was torn between the two, and then I started watching it and I started leaning more toward Kong. It's a tough choice. But let me tell you this, no matter whether you're Team Godzilla or Team Kong, you will thoroughly enjoy this movie. Now, right from the get-go, I'm going to tell you that the main focus is Kong. This starts out years after Skull Island. So Kong is a lot bigger. He's even got a little bit of gray in his fur, and they even add a little bit of humor in the beginning of the movie. Now we're going to find out almost immediately that there's a huge connection between Kong and this little girl who happens to be deaf. Now, we don't know why they have this connection, but it's a very strong one. And then we find out later down the road what this connection is, but I won't get into that. I'll try to keep that a surprise for you. But Kong and her have this connection to where he's kind of her protector, and yet she's his advisor, kind of. Maybe I shouldn't say advisor, but she definitely talks him into doing things that he may not have done had he made that decision himself. Now, the action starts almost immediately in this film, which is a good thing, because I'm not one to really sit back and be like, all right, give me an hour's worth of storytelling before we get into the action. Well, luckily, that's not the case here. We get right into the action. Again, it's mainly focused on Kong in the beginning, his backstory, where he's been since Skull Island, what's going on now. But although the focus is kind of on his story, we're still getting action from Godzilla. So he's not totally out of the picture here. He's already attacking cities. So they're trying to wonder, is he calling out Kong? Is there another reason why he's attacking these cities? They're really confused because they're even saying that he saved our world from the other monsters and now he's attacking. We don't get it. We don't understand what's going on. But if you can piece together the little hints and clues on what's going on, you find out rather quickly what's happening with Godzilla. Now, one thing I want to touch on is the special effects here, because they are incredible. There is so much to look at in this film. I mean, little things like Kong's scars and his hair and explosions and the detail in Godzilla. I mean, there's so much to look at and be fascinated by in this film. It was done so well. All the way down to the in-depth detail in the glowing of Godzilla's scales and eyes. It's just so good. Both of these creatures have a lot more emotion than they did in past movies. One of the things I will say is you will get wrapped up in the emotion and the sentimentality of Kong. It's in his eyes, it's in his gesture, it's in his voice. And I say voice loosely because all he does is growl. But Godzilla too, even in his eyes, at certain points of the movies, you can see anger, concern. There's just so much going on that if you pay attention to the small details, you're going to be completely blown away by it. Now, speaking of those details, there are some times where you're going, all right, even for a sci-fi monster type movie, we're stretching the limits here. And what I'm referring to mainly is you will find out in this movie where the Titans came from, their whole origin. Kong's home, that kind of thing. And it's not Skull Island, as some may think. So getting there is the part that I'm going, come on. I mean, it's a small thing to like shake your head about, but it's the details, right? It's all about the details. And I think they could have done that part a little better, how they get there. But I guess at some point in any movie, you gotta overlook certain things. And that's the one part I'm gonna overlook. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but this particular time is actually eventful. It's important to find out where Kong and Godzilla came from, what their home is like, what happened there. So I did enjoy that part of the movie, but although the travel there and other little tiny things that you're going to find out, you're going to scratch your head and go, all right, I think we could have done without that. But hopefully that won't deter you from the rest of the movie because it is really good. Now we do have to jump back into the movie again because we have to talk about Mechagodzilla. We all know he's in it, and let's face it, he's going to end up going toe-to-toe with both Kong and Godzilla. That's not a secret. I don't feel like that's a spoiler. If you didn't already know that, you didn't watch the trailers. Now the thing behind Mechagodzilla is pretty simple. You always have that evil corporation who's trying to take over the world or just do something a little bit too sketchy, and they build things like Mechagodzilla. That's exactly what happens here. So we have the company called Apex who designed and built Mechagodzilla. Was this a good idea? Probably not. So Mechagodzilla breaks loose. He's fighting Kong and Godzilla. I'm not going to tell you what happened, but it is an epic battle. It did not exactly go how I thought it was going to go, so that's a good thing. I like being surprised. I don't want to know before I even see the movie what's going to happen. They changed it up a little bit. That was a good thing. And then I will have to say, the chemistry between Kong and Godzilla at the very end of the movie kind of took me by surprise. In a very good way, though. Now, I don't want to spoil too much more for you. It is an absolutely epic movie. I hope you go to watch it. I hope you found this review a little bit helpful. Don't forget to drop a like on it. If you did, hit that subscribe button on your way out, and I'll catch you at the concession stands.